So lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight. SEC pounces on President Edgar Lungu's former press aide AMOS Chanda in its anti-graft crusade. DP wrangles DEEPEN as KALABA gets in the police books. NGOCC weighs in the paternity issue involving KABUSHI MP BOWMAN LUSAMBO. In international news, Madagascar drought, more than 1 million edged towards famine. And in sports news, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer expected to remain in charge of Manchester United despite the heavy defeat to Liverpool.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello once again, another news in detail. Former press aide for Zambia's 6th Republican President Edgar Lungu, AMOS Chanda, has revealed that the Anti-Corruption Commission searched the house of his tenant at State Lodge. Earlier in the day, Mr. Chanda had asked for media coverage after the commission summoned him to his farm, which is 32 kilometers from Lusaka, 2 kilometers off Leopards Hill Road. Mr. Chanda has informed the media that a total of 95,000 kwacha and a title deed belonging to his tenant have been seized. Mr. Chanda explains that the search warrant, although bearing his name, does not list the property they were searching. Meanwhile, the Anti-Corruption Commission was yet to issue a formal statement by broadcast time. The Zambia Youths Association in the Fight Against Corruption, ZIAFAC, has called for the Anti-Corruption Commission and subjects to be introduced in school curriculum so as to inculcate moral values in children from an early age. In an interview with Camnet News, Association Board Chairperson Mr. Rickson Kanema says the high levels of corruption the country is witnessing today could be combated if children were taught about the dangers of corruption, such as the negative effects it has on a country and the consequences that come along with it. Latest 2020 corruption rankings show Zambia dropped from 113 out of 180 countries in 2019 to 117 out of 180 countries in 2020, indicating that corruption cases had increased.
People, when we see the sophisticated branders, they don't just begin from without. These would have been built while at home. Their parents, their guardians, the deals they are doing at workplaces, in communities, they are watching. So when they grow up, they are dangerous plunderers. You talk about them, they will eliminate you. Actually, we would want subjects in the school curricula being implemented. We would want to see a law quickly by the Minister of Education taking a bill to Parliament to ensure that these things are embedded in our school curriculum, so that as pupils are going to school, they know that corruption is bad. What causes corruption? What are the effects? They need to know. So that together we can move as one team and succeed in the fight against corruption.
Advocacy for Accountability Action has called for the revision of the Anti-Holding Act to allow for those found illegally holding on to huge sums of money to be prosecuted. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Organization Programs Officer Mark Ngoma says illegal holding on to cash affects delivery of service in the country as it reduces the flow of liquidity in the economy. Mr. Ngoma says when the withholding law is enforced, it will act as a deterrent for any person planning on illegally holding on to huge sums of money. He says other countries have criminalized the holding on of huge sums of money, which usually sees perpetrators punished.
unfortunate part is that the anti-hoarding aspect, the anti-hoarding article in all of these acts is not enforced. Around the world, hoarding of cash is considered as a crime because it means that the economy can't function effectively because some of the cash that is supposed to be in the economy itself is being drained out through various means. So perhaps what we need to look at is revising this law to ensure that the anti-hoarding clause in these acts is enforced. This will act as a deterrent for anyone who's looking at hoarding cash, whether it be it kwacha currency or any other currency in the country, because once this is put into play, it will act as a deterrent to those willing to do such activities, and especially if it's a criminal offense, meaning that there will be jail time involved, it will really help in hindering this unfortunate development that we're seeing in our country.
A consortium of civil society organizations working in the environmental sector anticipates the Zambian government to formulate a 2022 green budget. WWF Country Director Nachilala Mkombo says their recommendations, which are in line with climate change in the 2022 national budget, which have been submitted to the Ministry of Finance for consideration. The collective civil society organizations say they understand that the national budget is a key policy instrument that is effective in outlining key annual priorities of the Zambian government to not only steer economic growth and stability, but deliver impact around sustainable development targets. Meanwhile, Minister of Green Economy and Environment Collins Nzovu assured that their submissions have been accommodated.
The United Party for National Development, Friday, 29th October 2021, is expected to deliver its first national budget outlining the country's development agenda. The budget is expected to start addressing issues contained in the UPND Party Manifesto, and Finance Minister Dr. Stombeko Musokotwane will present the budget speech. Non-state actors made recommendations to the 2022 national budget. The World Wide Fund for Nature and its partners expect a green budget that will set and fund the foundation for building a green economy and a sustainable future for all Zambians. WWF Country Director Nachilala Mkombo says they expect the budget to elevate the value of all natural capital assets to drive economic recovery and enhance livelihoods.
So our key expectations for us to start this year to build a secure and sustainable future is not only for your ministry to be adequately funded, but for us to be able to see clear green investments and projects across line ministries that include but not limited to agriculture, to energy and tourism. In short, Honorable Minister, we are expecting a green budget on Friday, a budget that will set the foundations for building a green economy and a sustainable future for all of us and not for some of us. We expect sectoral budgets to elevate the role and the value of the natural resources that are used to drive economic activity so as to achieve the economic recovery we're looking for, but as well as enhance livelihood. So we just don't want to see positive GDP numbers. We want to be able to see transformation that can be seen in people's transformed lives.
Minister of Green Economy and Environment Collins Nzovu says various submissions have been accommodated.
I therefore wish to reiterate government's commitment to an open-door policy for integrative engagement on the 2022 national budget preparation. I'm here to assure you that the ministry is delighted that you responded positively to calls for budget submissions, which I can assure you have been considered and integrated. This government is in a hurry to develop Zambia, whilst at the same time recognizing the need to protect Mother Earth from the catastrophic effects of climate change, which are mainly human-induced.
With climate change affecting various sectors of the economy, one only hopes attention will be directed towards adaptation and mitigation measures. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Non-state actors have urged the Zambian government to consider increasing budgetary allocation to sectors such as human and social development, agriculture, health, social protection, and the education sector. Speaking at a joint press briefing held in Lusaka, Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR Social and Economic Development Programs Manager Chama Mundia says all social sector budgets suffer from low allocations that don't meet sector requirements. Mrs. Mundia says the anticipated 2022 national budget must address most loopholes that have continued to affect social sectors. The CSOs say they remain determined to ensure that the social and macroeconomic objectives set out in the 2022 national budget and 2022 to 2024 medium-term framework, which include ring-fencing of financing for social sectors, are achieved within the targeted period. We have more in the following report.
The much anticipated 2022 national budget is expected to be presented this Friday, 29th October 2021 by Finance Minister Stumbeko Msokotwane. Some civil society organizations have however set out their expectations regarding the socio-economic sectors in line with the proposed priority areas of the upcoming 8th National Development Plan. Speaking at a media briefing held in Lusaka Wednesday, the CSOs have called on government to consider increasing budgetary allocation to the sectors such as human and social development, agriculture, health, social protection, and the education sector.
The 2022 national budget allocation to the health sector should reach the minimum 15% of the total national budget, meeting the requirement of the budget declaration. This will, of course, boost healthcare financing to improve service delivery across the health continuum of care.
So we should be looking at better domestic resource mobilization, and we are happy to see that we are taking back control of the markets and the bus stations. These are potential sources of revenue for local authorities that can also help in terms of resource mobilization.
And according to the 2021 World Bank Policy Expenditure Review, overall poverty is estimated to have consistently increased since 2015 and rapidly increased on account of the COVID-19 pandemic. Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection has called on government to consider increasing budgetary allocation to the social protection sector to at least 5%.
The 2022 budget allocation to social protection should be increased to at least 5% of the total national budget in order to increase the coverage of poor households given the rise in poverty levels.
And while there has been some significant increase in budgetary allocation to the education sector in the last couple of years, National Action for Quality Education in Zambia says the sector faces huge challenges which require more resources than what is currently made available.
We are very much expectant that the allocation to the education sector will be increased from the current 11.5% to at least 20% of the total national budget. Our strong belief is that once this is done, then the Ministry of Education will address the dilapidated state of most of our learning institutions.
The CSOs are hopeful that the national budget will table some of the serious economic challenges such as the debt situation, high inflation rate, declined gross domestic product, build foreign reserves, and introduce better tax policies that will favor businesses in the country. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The non-governmental organization, Gender Organization Coordinating Council, NGOCC, says it has taken keen interest in a case of Messi Matongo, a woman who has accused former Lusaka Province Minister BOWMAN LUSAMBO of fathering her children. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka, NGOCC chairperson Mary Mulenga says the organization has taken interest in the case not because of the names involved, but because of the vulnerability of the woman involved and her children. Ms. Mulenga says raising children as a single parent can be a difficult task that ideally requires both parents to take a responsibility for their better, well-rounded growth. She says her organization is actively following the matter to ensure that it is dealt with and brought to a logical conclusion.
We want, as an organization, to place it on record that we have taken keen interest in this particular matter, not because of the names involved, but for the vulnerable woman and the children in question. Our primary concern, therefore, is that this matter involves an expectant mother and her innocent children whose father remains unbeknown in this case. Raising children as a single parent can be a daunting task that ideally requires both parents to take full responsibility for their better and well-rounded growth. As already stated, we called this media briefing to emphasize that we are actively following this matter to ensure that it is dealt with and brought to a logical conclusion in a more humane and equitable manner. In the midst of this controversy, society must recognize that there are children who deserve parental care and a woman who has endured the pain of single parenting.
Parliament has unanimously ratified the presidential appointment of Attorney General, Solicitor General, Secretary to the Treasury and Bank of Zambia Governor. Those ratified to serve in their respective positions are Mulilo Kabesha to serve as Attorney General, Marshal Muchende to serve as Solicitor General, Felix Nkulukusa to serve as Secretary to the Treasury, and Dr. Deni Kalialia to serve as Governor of the Bank of Zambia. Tabling the report in Parliament this afternoon, Brigadier General Morgan Siwatala, the chairperson of the Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the presidential appointments, says the nominees met the required qualifications to serve in their respective positions. He said the committee is convinced beyond doubt that they will execute their duties exceptionally.
Parliament on Wednesday ratified the appointment of the new Attorney General, Mr. Mulilo Kabesha, Solicitor General, Mr. Marshal Muchende, Secretary to the Treasurer, Mr. Felix Nkulukusa, and the Bank of Zambia Governor, Dr. Dani Kalialia. This came to light when Brigadier General Morgan Swatala, the chairperson of the Select Committee, moved a motion to adopt the report of the Parliamentary Select Committee appointment to scrutinize the presidential appointment.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, the appointments are made pursuant to Articles 177, 179, 183, and 214 of the Constitution of Zambia, Chapter 1 of the Laws of Zambia. The said articles empower the Republican President to appoint an Attorney General, Solicitor General, Secretary to the Treasury, and Bank of Zambia Governor subject to ratification by the National Assembly.
He said the committee was convinced that the nominees were qualified and equal to the task.
The committee observed that the nominee has a mature disposition and is highly qualified and immensely experienced.
Last month, President Hakainde Hichilema appointed the four. Seconding the motion, Mambilima Constituency Member of Parliament says there is no doubt that the nominees will execute their duties exceptionally.
Speaker, in seconding the motion, I would like to mention that the capacities in which they have been appointed to serve are critical for good governance, socio-economic development, and therefore it is gratifying to note that the nominees possess the requisite qualifications.
Other members of Parliament also debated on the motion.
President Hakainde Hichilema has appointed Dani as back at Bank of Zambia. And when the President was saying, you see, the governor whom I will give you, I thought they will give us Gabriel Angel. And they gave us Dani, a person we worked with. And the person who contributed to the Kwacha to Dora from 10 to 20. And we are not surprised, Madam Speaker,
that this nomination of the Governor of the Bank of Zambia, Mr. Deni Kalialia, will help this government, will help this country restore order yet again in terms of monetary policies.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Democratic Party Vice President Judith Kabemba and National Treasurer Justin Nkonge have formally reported Democratic Party President Harry KALABA to the Drug Enforcement Commission DEC for allegedly misappropriating funds belonging to the party. Ms. Kabemba has also challenged Mr. KALABA to explain why the said funds were not allowed to pass through the party accounts to enable auditing. The duo recently expelled Mr. KALABA from the party for allegedly breaching its constitution.
I think we are here, we are from DEC here, the Drug Enforcement Commission. We came here to formally report a case, and as DEC, we understand that they enforce 2 acts, that is the Narcotic and Psychotropic Act and also the Anti-Money Laundering Act. So we are here, we came to formally report Hari KALABA so that the Drug Enforcement Commission may be interested to hear where he got the money that he's claiming was getting from his home. So my colleague will shed more light on how we've moved.
Well, yes, we are here, and the nation may recall that the past 2 days, Mr. Hari KALABA did inform the nation that all the money that the Democratic Party used for the campaigns was coming from his own house. And we are wondering where an individual would get, first of all, such huge sums of money that was spent in the campaign, and also why he would decide to keep such huge sums of money in the house, because we are also aware that no single coin went through the Democratic Party account. So what was the fear of allowing funds pass through the account? And so we shall wait from DEC on how the case will proceed.
The United Party for National Development UPND spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa has called for patience among citizens with regards to presidential appointments in various departments. Mr. Mwetwa says President Hakainde Hichilema and party leaders have learned with concern over the agitation of party members who lack patience, saying such action do not reflect the party's ideologies. He has since assured that in the soonest possible time, people will appreciate the UPND approach to governance, especially after the budget presentation this Friday. Mr. Mwetwa said this when he addressed the media Wednesday in Lusaka. More in the following report.
The United Party for National Development, UPND spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa, as Wednesday, October 27, 2021, urged citizens to exercise more patience with the new Dawn government, especially on the appointment of various portfolios in government, among other pending issues. Mr. Mwetwa says this during a press briefing in Lusaka.
Business as usual. There are 2 things that we want to clarify here. Number 1, on our appointments. The government of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema has found the government system extremely dirty that sometimes the people that some people would expect that such a person should be appointed to this particular portfolio are the ones who have been found wanting. So the president is taking it easy because he doesn't want to appoint someone today, only tomorrow to be told, why have you appointed such a person? Are you not aware of these skeletons? So there is right now proper vetting that is going on all constitutional and public office appointees to ensure that the right persons get appointed.
Mr. Mwetwa has further warned citizens from condoning some accusations made by the opposition, saying they lack facts and have potential of causing confusion in the country.
When you have people like Shoni Tembo, I heard what he was saying this morning. Please forgive them. They are enjoying new freedoms under the new dawn, something they could not freely do under now the leadership of the opposition patriotic front. So we shouldn't call Sean Tembo many names, no. He's an example of a new Zambia, where opposition parties are able to criticize government for almost everything. And we were calling on the patriotic front when they were in government to be tolerant. I'm here to say the UPND-led government is a tolerant government. So Sean Tembo, carry on to enjoy your freedoms. But I must warn the public not to take Sean Tembo serious because he has poor political judgment.
He has since assured that in the soonest possible time, people will appreciate the UPND approach to governance, especially after the 2022 national budget presentation this Friday. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
Government has underscored the need to invest in agricultural research and development of resilient agricultural technologies in mitigating the negative effects of climate change. Speaking when he launched this year's National Seed Fair, Wednesday, Central Province Minister Credo Najua has commended the local seed companies for raising the standard of the seed industry amidst climate change challenges. Meanwhile, Golden Valley Agricultural Research Trust GART Executive Director Dr. Martin Muyonda has underscored the need for continued collaboration among stakeholders in ensuring food security in the country through the use of quality seed.
Government has underscored the need to invest in agricultural research and technology to increase productivity in the agriculture sector. Speaking when he launched this year's National Seed Fair Wednesday, Central Province Minister Credo Najua has commended the local seed companies for raising the standard of the seed industry amidst climate change challenges.
In the last year, Zambian seed companies exported in excess of 17,000 metric tons of seed to countries in SADC, COMESA, and even as far as countries in Europe. As government, we are proud of the seed industry in this country, and we wish to pledge our continued support to the growth of the seed industry.
And Golden Valley Agricultural Research Trust GART Executive Director Dr. Martin Muyonda has underscored the need for continued collaboration among stakeholders in ensuring food security in the country through the use of quality seed.
Part of technology developers have a lot of innovative technologies that are essential in transforming agriculture in Zambia, but such technologies have been unable to reach the end users who are the farmers. Honorable Provincial Minister, the GART National Seed Fairs aim at bringing together the seed and other related technology developers with the farmers who are the end users of the technologies, so that farmers can be able to experience and compare the various technologies.
Meanwhile, GART chairperson Dr. Benson Chishala has called for advanced seed development to achieve a common goal of advancing agriculture technology.
Is conducted in order to create a strong link between the technology providers, which are the companies and organizations providing seed, fertilizers, agrochemicals, and irrigation innovations on one hand, and the farmers on the other, who are the intended beneficiaries of these technologies in time for the commencement of the 2021-2022 farming season.
This year's National Seed Fair commemoration is under the theme Technology Advancement Through the Resilient Technologies. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Chisamba.
This is Camnet TV and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after this break.
Would you like to win some cool cash? Say no more. Stand a chance to win your share of 1 million kwacha. Simply make a transaction from your Zamtel mobile money account and you could be one of weekly winners of up to 10,000 kwacha. Be empowered with Zamtel mobile money. Dial *344# to activate your account. This promotion runs from 28th July to 31st October 2021. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
This is the Rusitu Irrigation Project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Chinese ambassador to Zambia, Li Ji, says Zambia's aspiration of increasing the COVID-19 vaccination of its population will build confidence in tourists in comparison to China, which has managed to vaccinate at least 80% of its population. And Mr. Ji expressed happiness that the World Health Organization has certified that the Chinese vaccines meet international standards. The Chinese envoy made the remarks when he met Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba at his office. Meanwhile, Mr. Rodney Sikumba has called for more international investment in the tourism sector and has asked the People's Republic of China to seize the available opportunities to partner with local Zambians in doing so. Mr. Sikumba says the government is cognizant of the tourism potential and benefits that come with large outbound tourism provided by the Chinese market. He says Zambia wants to benefit whatever marginal figures from the larger share of the nearly 200 million outbound tourists from China.
Ideally, what we want to achieve is that the people who come to visit Zambia, the people they interface with, have to be vaccinated. Yeah. And as such, you will start seeing a lot of our colleagues where they'll be probably wearing a badge which says, "I am vaccinated." Mm-hmm. It will give you that confidence, say, look, this person is vaccinated. So, but the more we have, even just 2% of the Chinese population to come and visit Zambia in a year, I think my team here will be happy. We'll be looking at better revenue streams coming into the country.
So China, I think, is a very ideal, important market for Zambia to develop. I mean, the tourist market, because we are a country that produces the largest amount of tourists in the world. Before the pandemic, in the year 2019, we have 230 million Chinese tourists traveling overseas.
That's a lot.
And among that, 1 million of them came to Africa. And among that, 10,000 people, only 10,000 people visited Zambia.
The National Advisory Board for Impact Investment, NABI, says investment made in the country should not only have an impact on the economy, but also have a lasting impact on society through ways such as poverty alleviation and in turn respond to climate needs of the country. Speaking during the media launch for Impact Investment, Board Chairperson Dr. Austin Mwape states that while various investments have been made in the country, these have little or no impact on the livelihood of citizens as poverty levels continue to shoot up. He says there is need for Zambia to transition into an impact economy by changing the manner in which business is conducted. More in the following report.
Like many other developing countries, Zambia has social and economic challenges which need to be addressed. These have been summed up into 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which have to be attained by 2030, along with other United Nations UN member countries. The National Advisory Board for Impact Investment, NABI, says Zambia needs to start practicing smart investment, which will also help in seeing to it that the Sustainable Development Goals are achieved. Addressing the media during the launch for Impact Investment, NABI Board Chairperson Dr. Austin Mwape states that while previous investments made have contributed to economic growth, these have had no direct impact on social problems like poverty, as well as climate change concerns.
A mature impact economy will help power economic growth while solving global, social, and environmental challenges. It is very possible to have economic growth, whilst at the same time, the social and environmental challenges remain largely unresolved. This is the bittersweet situation that Zambia found itself in, for example, between 2003 and 2011, a growth rate of about 7%. Despite experiencing substantial economic growth and macroeconomic stability during this period, Zambia did not succeed in reducing poverty and achieving sustainable development. On the contrary, the share of its population living on less than $1.9 a day increased significantly.
He says there is need for government to be consultative and change the manner in which business is done to ensure that investments made in the country have lasting impact on other areas other than the economy.
Investments intended to create positive impact beyond financial return. In other words, beyond just the financial return, you are also looking at other positive impacts that investments will have on society. In this regard, we can define an impact economy as a system in which institutions and individuals give equal priority to social impact and financial impact when making decisions about how to allocate resources.
Dr. Mwape further says Zambia is currently not an impact economy as its investments are mostly focused on economic growth, but adds that there is need to take deliberate steps to change this narrative. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A financial analyst, Mwape Musonda, has called on the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises Development to create a competitive business atmosphere which will allow small enterprises to grow into substantial businesses. In an interview, Mr. Musonda asked that the new ministry should also come up with alternative ways of disbursing loans to youths, such as through banks, to ensure that these can be accessed at multiple points. He adds that those in the business world expect the 2022 national budget that will be presented on Friday, the 29th of October 2021, to be youth-friendly in order to give young people business opportunities. More in this report.
With ever-decreasing employment opportunities in the formal sector in Zambia, the focus has now turned to small and medium enterprises. Small and medium enterprises, SMEs, make up a large portion of economies of developing countries and have the potential to drive economic growth. With the introduction of the new Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises Development, stakeholders have come on board to give ideas of how this ministry can best be leveraged to see it benefiting citizens. A financial analyst, Mr. Mwape Musonda, says policies should be created which will allow businesses to compete fairly amongst themselves and even with international SMEs.
We expect that, first of all, they should create an environment that will be very competitive, where those entrepreneurs with the best ideas, they will get to access these empowerment funds, and then they should be able to provide these funds at a very, very reasonable or cheap cost, so that us as entrepreneurs in this country, indigenous entrepreneurs, we can be able to compete favorably with the entrepreneurs that come from outside of Zambia. And then the final point is that let this ministry be able to speed up the turnaround period for the disbursement of these empowerment funds or loans or grants. What we see right now with an institution like CEC is that, like I'll give an example. Last year, CEC made a call to various SMEs to apply for empowerment funds, I think sometime in August. It's over a year, and these funds have not been dispersed to the entrepreneurs who applied.
He adds that various avenues should be used to disperse loans from the ministry, as well as ensuring that these are timely and at favorable rates.
The ministry now should create other platforms. We give an example. They should be able to disperse these funds maybe through the banks. Let the SMEs be able to get these funds, these empowerment funds, loans, grants, through the banks from the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. The biggest challenge that SMEs face is the either lack of capital or access to very expensive capital. And in its current form, CEC gives loans to various SMEs at a rate of 12%. So our expectation is that the new ministry can only maybe provide these loans for SMEs at a price or cost which is even cheaper. Not that they should provide these loans at any price that is higher than 12%.
The financial analyst has called on other stakeholders to come on board and give ideas of how SMEs can best be navigated to see them becoming a tool which can be used to uplift the livelihood of citizens. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
To mark the 57th independence of Zambia, state-owned telecommunications company Zamtel has rewarded consumers with a new promotion dubbed Freedom that allows customers to enjoy the lowest calling and data packages on the market. Announcing the promotion during a news briefing, Zamtel Acting Chief Commercial Officer Keith Banda said the promotion is in line with Zamtel's One Zambia, One Nation, One Network campaign that seeks to unite families and friends through connectivity and digital solutions. He says the 90-day promotion, which comes into effect Wednesday, gives Zamtel prepaid customers freedom to enjoy all network minutes and data bundles packages at affordable prices.
Further, this promotion has got weekly and monthly validities to give variety to our customers. The manner in which the Freedom package is structured clearly puts the customer in control and empowers them to plan and predict their communication. As Zamtel, we are seeing a future where digital lifestyle becomes seamless and the transition between physical and digital lifestyle is almost non-existent. This is where Freedom Package comes in, as it is meant to cater for all your communication needs. As we launch Freedom today, our message is that the time to experience freedom has come. Time to get liberated has arrived.
Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP leader Sean Tembo has submitted before the Constitutional Court that by refusing to provide information in relation to the declaration of assets for a sitting president, the Electoral Commission of Zambia is violating a fundamental principle of democracy, which is free flow of public information. In this case, Mr. Tembo has petitioned ECZ and the state over the Electoral Commission of Zambia's failure to publish assets declared by President Hakainde Hichilema when he filed in his nomination papers prior to the 12th of August general elections. Mr. Tembo contends that ECZ has no right under the law to refuse a legitimate request from the public to disseminate public information. We have more in this report.
Opposition leader of Patriot for Economic Progress, Sean Tembo, has continued with this argument before the country's Constitutional Court that the Electoral Commission of Zambia should provide the general public with information in relation to the incumbent president declared assets. Mr. Tembo, in his petition filed before court, he has cited the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the Attorney General as the respondents. His argument is that the refusal by ECZ to provide information on the declared assets by the country's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema when he filed in his nomination papers prior to the 12th August general election is violating a fundamental principle of democracy, which is free flow of public information. The opposition leader submits that the Commission has breached the law for failure to provide information relating to the declared assets of President Hakainde Hichilema has requested because he is duly registered political party representing the public. Previously, the Electoral Commission argued that there is no provision in the Constitution which compels them to publish the declared assets and liabilities of a presidential candidate. The Commission argued that the current country's Amendment Constitution 2 of 2016 has no such provision which compels them to do so, and further that it has not breached any constitution as alleged by Mr. Tembo. Hence, the petition needs to be dismissed with cost. However, Mr. Tembo insists that ECZ's refusal to publish vital public information is in conflict with the spirit and tenure of the Constitution, the Electoral Processes Act, and the Electoral Commission of Zambia Act. The case continues before court. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
We now take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
This is the Rusitu Irrigation Project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we're here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. And in international news, Madagascar's southern region is experiencing its worst drought in decades, pushing more than 1 million people to the brink of famine. 4 consecutive droughts have wiped out harvests, with reports of people dying of hunger. In other news, the explosion that killed 1 person and injured several others on a bus Monday night near Kampala and was claimed by the Islamic State group was the result of a suicide attack, Ugandan police announced Tuesday. Monday's blast in Lungala, about 30 kilometers west of Kampala, on the road to DR Congo, followed a bomb attack in a Kampala cafe that killed 1 cafe worker and injured 3 others on Saturday night. Here's more of international news.
The UN warns it could soon lead to the world's first famine caused by climate change.
The situation in the Grand Sud of Madagascar is absolutely dire. Right now, we are entering the next lean season, which began in October. We have 1.3 million people who are severely food insecure. That means they do not know where the food that they need each day to survive is going to come from. Of those, 28,000 people are facing catastrophic food insecurity, which is to say famine-like conditions.
The tropical island country in the Indian Ocean that's used to cyclones, heavy rainfall and drought has seen an alarming decline in rainfall in recent years, affecting small farmers and cattle herders. People in southern Madagascar have seen their incomes decline even more. Water is scarce, fields have dried up, crops have died and there is little food. Some are eating locusts, cactus and even mud just to survive.
Some of those years, the drought seems to be related to the El Nino system in the Pacific. One of those years, it seems to be related to what's happening in the eastern Indian Ocean. And over all of those years, there tends to be an increase in the pressure systems, the atmospheric pressure just south of Madagascar.
Madagascar is extremely vulnerable to climate change, even though its carbon emissions are some of the lowest.
It is absolutely unjust that people who have done nothing to cause this crisis are now literally every day facing the fight for their lives because of the global climate crisis. So action must be taken for the people of the Grand Sud of Madagascar.
Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok is back home after what it looks like a coup by the military last Monday. Earlier, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan had announced that the Prime Minister was staying at his home for security reasons. The Sudanese military, led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, seized power on Monday amid tensions linked to the transition to democracy in the country. The attempted coup took place more than 2 years after a popular uprising ousted longtime autocrat Omar al-Bashir. On Tuesday, several protesters were wounded in Khartoum following mass demonstrations. The attempted coup was denounced by the international community. The takeover came after weeks of rising tensions between military and civilian leaders.
Ugandan authorities said Tuesday that the man who died in a bus explosion on Monday was a terrorist who was being sought by security forces. Police said the blast was a suicide attack carried out by 23-year-old Isaac Matovu. A survivor said the explosion jolted the fast-moving bus. I was on a bus going to Western Uganda when we heard a loud bang, a very loud one. I saw someone sitting behind me had been hit in the head by something. We began running and got out of the bus. When I was stranded here, I left my luggage in the bus. I thank God that I survived this. Monday's blast followed another at a bar in Kampala on Saturday night, in which one woman died and 3 others injured. I appeal to everyone, the government, the churches and mosques, to tighten security to ensure those who go to churches and mosques or use public transport are thoroughly checked to stop these acts. I've never witnessed such a thing in my life. We need to be vigilant to improve our security situation. Both attacks were claimed by the Islamic State in Central Africa Group, which presents the ADF as its regional branch.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer called the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool his darkest day, and that the immediate focus is now on improving through some players, though some players doubt he can deliver success at Old Trafford. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, however, expected to remain in charge of Manchester United despite the heavy defeat to Liverpool and the fact that a small number of players have reservations about their manager. The feeling within the club is that while the result was bitterly disappointing and painful for everyone, the immediate focus was on improving after picking up on 1 point from their last 4 Premier League games. United's next 2 Premier League matches are against Tottenham and Manchester City, both live on Sky Sports, and they also face Atalanta in the Champions League next week. But despite their poor results and huge external speculation, there is no suggestion from inside the club that Solskjaer's job is under threat at this point. Solskjaer oversaw training on Tuesday, with the team not in action until Saturday, having already exited the Carabao Cup in a surprise defeat against West Ham last month. To end the news, we take a look at stories making headlines once again. The SEC pounces on President Edgar Lungu's former press aide Amos Chanda in its anti-graft crusade. DP wrangles DEEPEN as Harry KALABA gets in the police books. NGOCC weighs in the paternity issue involving KABUSHI MP BOWMAN LUSAMBO. In international news, Madagascar drought, more than 1 million edged towards famine. And in sports news, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer expected to remain in charge of Manchester United despite the heavy defeat to Liverpool. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from Matthew 10 verse 16, and it reads, "Look, I'm sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as serpents and as harmless as doves." My name is Jeffrey Zambo, and thanks for watching Camnet TV Main News. Bye-bye.